Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am live. I attempted to do this stream uh, about a week and a half ago, but it was after work and the computer wanted to do its updating thing, so I just pushed it off and uploaded a little excerpt with me and Johnny Olden. Thank you to everyone who watched that. If you haven't watched that, it was a little spoof about Junior Colson's bobblehead. Please, hey, if you're new, check out the shorts and those excerpts, and yeah, those are valuable as well. Antoine, I was about to message you on the private channel, but I figured Antoine's probably doing something, and but I appreciate you being here. Let me know what you think as I go through this. Some of this, Antoine, you've already seen before, but I did not get to finish on that Wednesday night, so that's what this is. I'm back to do that one, a do-over. A do-over. I guess in the movies they call these reshoots. You can always do reshoots. You can reshoot that scene. Okay, let me make sure I'm live here. Then I'm going to jump in. I'm going to get through this, and yeah, then I'll log off because I'm supposed to go somewhere. It is a scorching 90, 93, 94 degrees here in the DMV, wherever you guys are. I hope you are staying warm. Because I almost wore my skull cap for this one, but I decided to go with the bucket hat instead, even though I do have the air conditioning going. Skip that ad. All right, let's go blue, and then I'll jump in, and then I will wrap this up in a timely fashion. Antoine, once again, let me know what you think. I'm not showing the ESPN rankings. I'm showing which rankings am I going to show today? This is from Sports Illustrated, so hopefully the Sports Illustrated rankings are more to your liking. Anyway, let's go blue. And then I will jump in and wrap this up. All right, let's go blue. Team 145. Ooh, that's the wrong one. Let's go blue. Team 145. All right, everyone, welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. You guys know me. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. I am a Michigan alum, and I am a proud supporter of our athletic programs, but in particular, the Michigan football Wolverines. So, hey, the celebrations are still taking place on Twitter. I'm seeing all kinds of movies and footage of Team 144 and their championship run. And hey, congratulations to Mikey Samerstill. He just became a father. So yeah, so folks are still celebrating the Natty, though we do have to turn the page eventually to Team 145. Let's Toast Media. Thank you for stopping through. So Antoine says, "What's up, Doc?" Let's Toast Media says go blue. Michigan back to back. Hey guys, I think that's likely. I mean, it's not okay. That's possible. That's possible. All right. Antoine says ESPN and Sports Illustrated are some lazy sons of bees. I think Phil Collins is more accurate. Okay. Well, across the board, Antoine, I think right now we are ranked number 10. Let's Toast Media says, salute Doc. Thank you. He says, what up, Toast? And then Kenneth Joyce says, peace to the chat. Okay, so I'm going to run through what I was going to do a week and a half ago, if my computer was working with me, was I was going to talk about the linebacking core a little bit. You know, we know a lot about the line, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Derek Moore, those guys. Let me pull out my roster here that Dennis Fithian gave me. We know about the line. All right, we know about We have a lot of players coming back in the secondary. Will Johnson, Rod Moore, if he's healthy, Zeke Berry. Antoine, correct me out there if I'm wrong. We have a lot of guys coming back in the secondary, but the question is, what's going on in the middle of that defense? Who's going to be flying around, blitzing the quarterback, filling those run gaps, and dropping back into coverage? Who's going to do that? So I saw a short piece. It's a really, really short piece. I'm going to read through that. Sherrone Moore is feeling very, very bullish about Ernest Housman and Jon Barm. And so I'm going to do that. But before I do that, let's just do a little bit of recruiting. And this is only, there's so much news coming out every day for the 2025 class and the 2026 class. But when I was going to do this stream originally, Michigan had just signed Jaylen Williams and Nate Marshall. Okay, so these are two big signings for the 2025 class. That would be team 146. That would be team 146. So Michigan signed. Let me enable my screen share here. I'm going to start with Jaylen Williams. And Antoine, you keep letting me know what you think there. I know we just signed I think it was a safety. So Michigan just signed this kid. Jaylen Williams, he's from Palatine, Illinois, 6'6", 265 pounds. He is a 4-star. And let's see. I think he's ranked. It looks like he's ranked 153rd in the country. He's the 20th defensive lineman. And he's Illinois 5, Antoine. I'm not sure what that means. Illinois 5. But anyway, this is a big pickup for the Wolverines because one of the questions I had with the exodus of staff members on the defensive side of the ball was it's Sherrone's team now. How is Sherrone's team going to reload and keep those cupboards stocked once Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, Derek Moore, once all these guys move on, Will Johnson, are they going to be able to restock the cupboards and keep the talent in there and keep depth? So far, it looks like the answer is yes. Okay, so they signed Jaylen Williams. This is not an exact science. Hopefully the kids stay committed. They also signed Nate Marshall. Another defensive lineman from Oak Park, Illinois. So they are working their Illinois. They're working that Illinois pipeline. So he's 6'4", and he's 265 pounds. Again, he's for the class of 2025. He's got a 4-star with a 93 rating. It looks like he's the 80th national player or defensive player in the country. He's the 12th defensive lineman. And then Illinois, he's number 2 in Illinois. So I'm not sure if that means this is by 24/7 Sports, if he's the 2nd defensive lineman in Illinois, or forgive me, guys, I have a bunch of things going on. I'm not an expert on this like Antoine is, but these are 2 really big pickups for the Wolverines. So it looks like, yes, they filled in that staff, and they're gonna keep stocking the cupboards, and they're going to keep talent in the program, talent coming into the program. All right, and then also let me close that. So my computer's not using all this bandwidth. Okay, let me close Nate. Okay, and we just got news this week that the Wolverines signed this kid for the 2026 team. So that would be team number 147. This kid right here, Brady Hart. He's 6'4", 180 pounds, and he's from Cocoa, Florida, which is basically South Florida. So he's from football country. Okay. So he is a 4-star. Okay. So who knows how long Orgy's going to stay? Who knows who's going to take the job after him? But certainly getting a kid like this is a big deal, because that means our quarterback room is going to have lots of talent in it. And if you have a kid 6'4", who's a 4-star, and he can sling it, this will be good for the program going forward. Let's see what Antoine's saying here in the chat. He says, Jon Barm, the guy we got from Maryland, and Ernest Housman. Yep. He says our linebackers might be even better than last year. You've been listening to Johnny Olden. And Antoine says, and we've got linebackers behind them. That's right. And Antoine says, stop listening to Michigan media. All they do is sell panic. The Michigan media is the most cringiest, especially the podcast crew. Are you referring to Sam Webb's gang? Or are you referring to Steve Dace? Steve Dace, yeah, he takes a lot of slings and arrows, but Steve Dace, he definitely, he's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Fearful at times. Steve Dace is very, very fearful at times about the program and what's going on and prospects. Okay, so that's some recruiting news there, Antoine. If you have anything else there, if you have any other names there in the chat, let me know. But those are 3 big pickups for future classes for the Wolverines. So let me close that. And I did take a look at this. I did present this when I got partway through my show a week and a half ago. These are all kids that are part of the class of 2024. These guys are on team 145. We saw some of them during the spring game. In particular, Jayden Davis. We saw him during the spring game. Let's see. Yeah. So this is from the M Go Blue website. So there's Sherrone running out with the team probably before the Ohio State game because they're all dressed they have the blue tops and the blue pants. Michigan signs 26 student athletes to the 2024 football recruiting class. I'm not going to go over every name here, but Jayden Davis is in this group. He's only 6'1", 190 pounds. Let's see. Are there any other names here? I did meet this kid here at the bottom. Owen Waffle. I met him last summer when I was at a symposia for my department. We were all in the old campus inn, and there were a bunch of kids there. But these are the kids who they're bringing in on this class. I think Jayden Davis is probably the biggest name here. So I'm going to read this comment from Let's Toast Media. He says, we are going to have crazy linebacker room playing give Ray Lewis, Mason, and Grant in front of him. Ravens defense is really going to show this year. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Kenneth Joy says, I stopped watching him a couple years ago. Yoder as well. Let's see. Antoine says, I can't wait until Jason Hewitt hits the field. Okay, so the linebacker core for this year. This is a really, really brief piece, guys. I promise. And I'm going to go through this and just say a few words on the linebackers. Then I'll wrap the stream up and I'll read your comments as well. So this is from Ryan Baloney, June 9th. Michigan football, Chiron Moore makes a surprise claim about the 2024 season. Yeah, guys, I think, we're going to have a physical defense. We know that with all the guys coming back, with the style of play, with the scheme still in place. We're going to have our run wall. We're going to be blitzing like crazy. I think, well, as Antoine described there in the chat, the linebacker core is going to be more physical than the one we had last year. And we've got Will Johnson and the other guys back there in the secondary. So we're going to have another strong defense. And the offense will probably look different, more RPO, assuming Orgy's in there. But I think we're going to have a good year. I think we're going to have another strong team, assuming everybody stays healthy. Okay, let me jump into this. And I hope you guys are staying cool wherever you are, because it is warm here. Okay. The Michigan football program is not only hoping that Sherrone Moore is a good replacement for Jim Harbaugh at head coach, this offseason, but they are also hoping to fill the void left in the linebacker room by the departures of Junior Colson and Michael Barrett to the NFL. Michigan is expecting big things from Ernest Housman and Jon Barm, and Moore expressed confidence in those two, saying they will surprise some this season. Yeah, Johnny Olden Jr., shout out to Johnny, has been very, very bullish on Ernest Housman. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Those linebackers, Jayshon and Ernest, are two of the best in the country, Sherrone said, according to Chris Peterson of Go GMB Wolverine. They're going to surprise a lot of people. Junior Colson reunited with Jim Harbaugh as he was drafted by the Los Angeles Chargers in the 3rd round, while Michael Barrett was drafted in the 7th round by the Carolina Panthers. Last season, Ernest Housman was the 3rd linebacker behind Colson and Barrett, and he's expected to take over one of the starting roles this season. He has reportedly been a standout this spring, according to Peterson. Jon Barm is a Maryland transfer and is expected to start next to Housman. Barm had 95 tackles, 9.5 tackles, 9.5 tackles for a loss, 7 sacks, and 1 interception, which came against Michigan last season against J.J. McCarthy, according to Peterson. Yep, I was there in the stadium when it happened. He is an experienced player who should be valuable in a defense that is now being run by new defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, who is coming over from the New York Giants. Michigan football was dominant in nearly every area last season, and there is a lot to replace, but Moore is confident in the ability of Housman and Barham to step into starting roles this season and be a dominant pairing. The run game and defense were arguably the two most important aspects of the national champion Wolverines last season, and it would not be a surprise if that was the goal again this season. Okay. I'm going to stop that there. I think there's a little bit more, but I'm going to stop that there. Let's see. Kenneth Joyce says, let's see. Antoine says, you made a good decision, Kenneth. Some guys don't know nothing. I've corrected them on plenty of stuff over the years. Kenneth Joyce says, I give you credit. You've been on point, Antoine. Antoine says, I'm expecting a playoff run. If we don't win the championship, we will come close to it. I agree with that. Let's Toast Media says, it's not a surprise to us. It's going to show we are still a top tier defense. Yep. And this is going to be our best defense. Okay. Antoine says, I predict that Oregon will have trouble in the Big Ten with all the midgets. They may have speed, but that power is not there. I think Dan Lanning gave some controversial comments this week. I didn't see what they were, but if you guys know what those were, let me know. He was in the news for something discussing Oregon's move to Big Ten football. Let's see. And Let's Toast Media says, Antoine, nobody has better trenches played than us this year. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Antoine says 100% to Toast. Let's Toast Media. Okay. Ernest Housman and Jon Barm. We'll take a quick look at them. Again, shout out to Johnny Olden Jr. He was very bullish last year on Ernest Housman. This is Ernest Housman right here, making an open field tackle against, looks like UNLV or Rutgers. 6'2", 237 pounds. He's from Columbus, Nebraska. And then last year, let's see, it looks like his career highs. He had eight solo tackles against Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. Two solos 2 times against Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. 6 assisted tackles versus Iowa. Tackles for a loss, 1 against Michigan State. And he had no sacks. Let's see. I'm going to take a quick look here at his stats. Okay, it says no statistics available for 2024. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so that's Ernest. one of the things me and Johnny talked about was that these are true linebackers. These are not Don Brown's Viper scheme linebackers. These are true, two true, strong and pursuant, heavy hitting linebackers. Okay, that's Ernest Housman, and then Jayson Barm. There's Jayson Barm. Looks like he's wearing number 1. Ernest wears number 15. Jayson Barm wears number 1. He's a 6'3" junior. He weighs 248 pounds. He's from right here in the DMV, District Heights, Maryland. And he went to St. Francis. So career highs against MSU. He had 12 tackles in 2022, 7 solo tackles against SMU. Sacks. So 2 times versus Charlotte. Let's take a look at this. Pass breakups. Let's see. 2 against Nebraska, forced fumbles, 1 versus Purdue. Fumble recoveries, 1 versus Purdue, and 1 interception versus Michigan last year. That was on JJ McCarthy. And so these are 2, according to Johnny, 2 true linebackers. Yeah. Okay. So if these are 2 true linebackers with what we have on coming back on the line in the secondary, these are going to be. I don't see why this won't be a stronger defense than the one we had last year. So some of the other guys who are playing behind them. Let's see. I'm looking at my roster here. I'm just gonna read off some names. So on the Mays team in the spring game, there was Micah Pollard. There was Ernest was on the Mays team. Jaden Hood, Hayden Moore, Liam Grow, John Weidenbeck. Okay, and then on the blue team, I think Hewlett's over here. Jayson Barm was on the blue team. Samaj Bridgman, Jack McKinnon, Christian Boyvin, Joel Metzger, and let's see. I'm looking for Hewlett, Antoine. I'm looking for Hewlett. Jason Hewlett, number 19. Yep. Jason Hewlett, number 19, 6'2", 224 pounds, sophomore. Yeah. So it should be a stronger defense than the one we had, if as good, if not stronger. So that's gonna be a key to success for Team 145. I'm gonna read some of your comments here. Antoine says all the teams that came into the Big Ten thought they were going to dominate. Look at Penn State and Nebraska. Yeah, Nebraska hasn't been the same since they've come to the Big Ten. Let's see. All these teams think they could just play basketball on grass. They'll find out real quick that they can't just play arena football. Antoine says you see the pack is used to just throwing the ball around without an offensive line. They're going to find out real quick, and you might as well put Ohio State in that category as well. There's been a lot of trash talk from down in Columbus. They are looking to avenge what happened the last 3 years. So there's been a lot of trash talk coming out of Columbus. Antoine says all these teams are used to playing glamour football. You see all that climber don't work unless you have the trenches in place. In Ohio State's neglect of the trenches, you will see over the years. Yeah. So who's going to be able to out physical Michigan this year on both sides of the ball? Okay. I'm going to go over the rankings, and then I'm going to wind the stream down. It's warm in here. Antoine, I apologize. This is Sports Illustrated, I think. again. Let me see who this is. Yep, SI.com. I'm not going to go over the entire top 25. Okay, let's just do it for completeness. USC is number 25, Miami's 24, Iowa's 23, Kansas is 22, Virginia Tech is 21, Arizona is 20, Oklahoma State's 19, Oklahoma's number 18, Kansas State's number 17, Clemson is number 16, Tennessee is number 15, LSU is 14, NC State is 13, Penn State is number 12, Florida State is number 11, and Michigan right now is number 10. It's the same way over on the ESPN poll as well. Utah's number 9. Missouri's number 8. Alabama's number 7. Ole Miss is number 6. Notre Dame is number 5. Oregon's number 4. Texas is number 3. Ohio State is number 2. And Georgia is back at number 1. Okay. You know what? And you know what, Antoine? I don't think it's a bad thing that we're ranked number 10. I mean, I think, yeah, if people are underestimating our team again, I think that's a good thing. It's going to give them something to prove. And there's going to be more pressure on Ohio State and the other teams ranked ahead of us. So I definitely think we're one of the top 12 teams in the country. I think we're going to be physical on both sides of the ball. I think the fact that we have that depth on defense coming back, I think that will give the offense time to settle in and find its identity. Because I think there's going to need to be a few weeks there, even though Texas is the second game. There may need to be some time for everything to gel on that side of the ball in terms of the offensive line, in terms of the running game, and assuming Orgy is the guy, which Orgy will probably be the guy. Yeah. You want your defensive unit to be the stronger of the two units starting off. If and when the offense has to figure out what it's going to do. And we know what it's pretty much going to do, but Orgy hasn't started yet. So it's going to be different for him to be the full-time guy, to be QB1. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I just wanted to do this quick discussion on the linebackers. I mean, there are other stories to tell. I saw an article saying that Tyler Morris is really separating himself in the wide receiver room. So even though we lost 2 vets, we still do have some good younger guys coming back there. So there'll be more stories to tell in the next 2 to 3 months. But I just wanted to do something on the linebacker core. So, yeah. So do you guys have any more comments before I wind this down? I'll hang on for a few more minutes. I'll let it go for an even 30. Do you guys have any more comments before I wind this down? Okay. All right. Antoine says, let's see. Let's Toast Media says, who is your linebacker? Nobody's talking about what you would like to see have a breakout year. Nobody's talking about what you would like to see. Who is your linebacker? Who is my linebacker? I mean, is that question for me? Antoine says, I put them in the same class as ESPN, a bunch of lazy people who don't do research. They do what the rest of the clowns do, look at the rankings instead of at the game. Okay, so he's talking about Sports Illustrated. He says, I don't care about rankings. You see, I rate teams on what they actually do. And that includes players who don't look at crystal balls. I turn the television. Antoine says, keep Michigan's chip on the shoulder. And then Antoine says, Michigan's receiving threat is at tight end. We will redefine the game. We will be Ohio State just with the tight ends. Yeah. Colston Loveland and Marlon Klein. Yeah, that's going to be, it'll be similar to having AJ Barner last year and the year before that, Schoonmaker. So yeah, that's a hallmark, a hallmark of this program. Let's Toast Media says, yes, what 2 or 3 deep do you want to see stand out? Let's Toast Media, I want whoever's going to make plays out there. That's who I want. That's why I want to see play. What do you think? But behind Jon Barm and Ernest Housman, what do you think? Who do you want? Antoine mentioned Jason Hewlett. I want whoever's going to win the game for us. That's who I care about. And I'm sure the coaching staff feels the same way. Let's Toast Media says Hood. So you're referring to Jaden Hood. Okay, 6'1", 225 pounds. He's a senior. Okay. Well, the opportunity is there. I mean, we just talked primarily about 2 guys, but one of the other strengths of this defense, which they were able to do last year, was they rotate the guys in and out, kind of like the old Dallas Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson defenses, were part of the key to what they did was the depth. So that's another prediction for this year, is that they're going to be able to do that again. They're going to be able to rotate in the bodies, which will keep everybody fresh, nice and fresh. Daniel Shavira says, have you watched Locked On Wolverines podcast with Isaiah Hole? That likely this Stallions case is another slap on the wrist. You know, while that whole thing was going on, I was watching Isaiah Hole every day to see what he knew. And of course, he was being very, very cryptic about, I have a source. I can't disclose everything, but from what I'm hearing, it's this, and this. So I am familiar with Isaiah Hole. I have not watched his commentary on Connor Stalions. I know Ohio State fans are still paying attention to Connor Stalions and what's going to happen with Connor Stalions and the whole thing, but I have not watched Isaiah Hole recently. But from what I am hearing is that this is not going to amount to much. All that happened during the season while the championship run was going on, I'm hearing that it's not going to amount to much, even though Ohio State fan wants to see our title snatched away, so they can laugh and rejoice at that. I see you have one more comment, Antoine, then I'm going to wrap the stream up. Antoine says, let's see, Ohio State is still praying for something to happen to us. There you go. They know they can't do anything on the field. And then Antoine says, Michigan got a ton of linebackers. Your goofy media just forgets about them. I'm talking about the Michigan beat writers. Okay. All right, everyone, that's all I've got for today. I'm going to wrap this up and get ready to head out to somewhere. So you guys, thank you for being here, Antoine, and Let's Toast Media, and Daniel Shavira coming in, and Kenneth Joyce was here. Thank you for being here, everybody, and I appreciate the participation. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you are watching this on the playback, you can leave a super thanks. If you want to leave a donation, my Cash App and PayPal are in the description box. And I think I'll wrap that up. The links to my book project and my newsletter are in the description box as well. I am a writer, and I am finishing up my book project right now. I'll talk about it some more once I finish it. But yeah, it's a sports related project. But anyway, thank you all for being here and for supporting. And please consider subscribing to the channel if you're not. Let's Toast Media says, yes, sir. Kenneth Joy says, okay, Doc. And Antoine, I'll continue analyzing the intel that you provide on our private channel. All right, everyone, go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Go blue.